Hello and welcome to the BFL Football Show for another week, proudly supported by McDonald's Ballarat and Ballarat Toyota. And what a massive game we've got this weekend, the big interleague clash between Ballarat and Geelong, played at the Eastern Oval starting at 2 p.m. And Gav McGrath, welcome from the Courier, mate.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show. Now the big clash this weekend, you looking forward to it yourself?
Look, I'm hoping to be there. I might have some other issues on the sideline that will prevent me. I might have my first daughter arriving at some point soon, but I certainly hope to be there. Look, I'm looking forward to it. We played against Golden Valley, I shouldn't say we, but the league played against Golden Valley. I went up to that, and I was expecting to win that one. Now we're playing just to save, in that third place and have a shot at moving up next year. So there's a fair bit to play for.
Definitely, and obviously, if we happen to lose this game, we go and play for 5th v 6 next year. So it's an important game to win. Obviously, the league would like to be ranked number one. If the win can happen on the weekend, that can obviously give themselves an opportunity next year.
Well, it'll be quite a few years since the Ballarat Football League has dropped to that low, into that 5 or 6 area. So there is a fair bit to play for, almost as much motivation to stay up as there is to move up to the next level, I would have thought, because there's a fair bit of prestige involved. Certainly the Ballarat Football League and the side that they have put together here has a lot of guys who've played a lot of interleague football. And to me, that says that they're really keen and committed to not just the concept, but they're keen and committed to actually staying up and playing at the highest level. I think a lot of these guys would actually be extremely gutted if they were to lose this game. And I saw the reaction after the loss against Golden Valley. They weren't happy about it. And for them, it's more than just a game that actually just, an exhibition game. I think it's more to that for our guys. I'm not so sure about Geelong. We'll see.
Sure. Now, just touching on this year's squad compared to last year's squad, before we have a look at a few players, do you think this squad's a little bit stronger than last year, or obviously, I suppose, lots of a few players?
You did say that you weren't sure whether it was as strong. Look, I think in some ways there's a lot of new blood into this side, and I also don't buy into this idea that you look at a side on paper and say that this side is weaker or stronger based on the number of names. Whether they gel as a group, I think, is far more important, and we're going to find that out shortly. Certainly, Sean Maloney, the coach, was talking it up like they'd bonded together. That's what you really need. Football isn't just about big names, I don't think, these days.
You took the words out of my mouth, Gav. I think you're spot on. Sean's certainly got the buy-in from all the players, and that's very important to have. And certainly, he's asked for 100% commitment from all the players that have been involved. Even just personally going around and presenting each letter to each player at each training session, rather than actually sending a letter out. I think that shows that, I suppose, how committed the coaching staff are about this, and then they've certainly put an enormous amount of effort into the campaign. So hopefully it can pay dividends on the weekend.
Look, I was going to talk about that. In terms of the people they asked, they got most of them. And I think that we've got basically a broadsheet based on at least the Ballarat Courier Football of the Year voting. They got the right players. Now, if you look at the Geelong blokes who have dropped out, now that doesn't say anything about the 20, the squad of 24 or 25 or whatever it is that are actually in the side. But certainly they had a lot of big names that might have been part of their...
Yeah, but are those big names going to really want to come back and play? I mean, a bloke who played an AFL Premiership last year like Ottens, is he really going to want to come back and really be motivated for a game like this?
You might have asked whether a player like that would be motivated to go back and play country football anyway. What's the difference?
For a lot of the Ballarat players, their pinnacle in their career is this weekend's game. So I think for those players to play in this game is a massive thing for them, for a lot of Ballarat guys. And I think you're better off having guys who are 100%, 110% committed. That's what Sean Maloney's got out of this group. Let's touch on a few players, Gav.
Well, I guess just on that point, I suppose that is the question you've got about Geelong.
Well, I haven't seen their squad. I haven't seen their squad, but I know that those guys, I don't think that those guys not playing will affect them too much.
Possibly not.
Now, just some players we'll touch on just briefly. Tristan Carledge, a player that has played, obviously, AFL, got some AFL experience, and he's a player that I think can stand up on the big stage. He's obviously played at the highest level before, so it'd be good to see him, I suppose, when he's in the forward line on Saturday, and also when he's in the ruck, I suppose, dominate the game and really give the midfielders first use of the footy.
Well, speaking of which, I mean, we're talking about some of the ex-AFL players who weren't at Geelong. It's great that we've got an ex-AFL player playing in the ruck, basically where the action kicks off. I think that says something about how importantly we take the interleague concept as a town. I think that he will be, and we don't know who his opponent is, but I think that given that Geelong is, from what we hear, a taller side than us, I think that it's going to be important.
Yep, no, very good. Now, player I want to touch on is Tyson Shea, who's been a great servant of Ballarat footy for quite some time and gets his first opportunity to play interleague footy. Or it's great for a guy like Tyson to get the opportunity. I'm sure that this is probably the pinnacle in his career.
I think he has played interleague before.
Once before, sorry.
I suspect he
didn't
probably...
hasn't played the last 2 years.
And he certainly, I think from what I can gather, I think he started on the bench in that particular game and didn't play a lot of football. Look, I've got a lot of time for Tyson. I mean, at one stage he was about Bacchus Marsh's only good player, and that's not the case anymore, which is part of the reason they're improving.
Yep.
I think it's an opportunity for him to play against players of equal quality, and he hasn't done that during his whole football career. And I think this is terrific for him, and I think that presumably he's got a chance to start on ball. I think that'd be quite a feather in his cap. He's having a great year.
Now, where do you think this game will be won and lost, Gab? I know that the Ballarat midfield is fairly strong. Got some couple of good key rucks in Karras and Tristan Cartledge. The backs, I think, haven't got any real tall backs. Obviously, Malcolm Niblett will probably play at fullback or centre half back on the weekend. Where do you think this game will be won and lost early on in the game?
Well, as you know, we don't get a lot of look at the opposition, so it's hard to see where they're at, and that's an important thing. This is obviously two sides in the competition, and it's as much about how well they play as is how Ballarat plays. The last time these two teams played, the difference was I think the first quarter, where Ballarat got well and truly on top. Why? Because these guys knew each other. They'd played together a lot, and I suspect that there's a chance that'll happen. The difference with this side compared with that side of, I think, was 2 years ago when they played against Geelong, was that was a Redan-dominated side. So those players were used to all their own set plays. That's less likely to happen here. But I think that still there is that strength of actually being involved with an interleague concept a lot longer than some of the Geelong boys. So I think that's where it's going to be run, that gelling together. Yeah,
no, for sure. Now, a little bit of rain forecast for Saturday.
That won't hurt either side.
You don't think it'll hurt either side?
No, that won't hurt this side.
Okay, right. That's fair. I think it may play some part. I think that it'll certainly bring players like Tyler George and those small sort of players into the game. And
if Geelong is as tall as we've heard, then it's certainly not going to hurt this team. Whether it's going to make a difference, who knows? But it won't. I don't think that would be a disadvantage for Ballarat. Hey, let's face it. When it comes to playing wet weather football in lousy conditions, nobody's more experienced at it than the Ballarat Football League.
So who's your tip for the game, Gav? Obviously you've seen the last couple of years. You saw the game against Golden Valley last year. There's a few players in that that played against Golden Valley that are playing on Saturday. Do you think Ballarat can get up to play that 1v2 game next year and obviously have a win on Saturday?
Well, being at the Ballarat Courier, I'm obviously going to say I think that Ballarat will win by about 2 or 3 goals. Maybe if I was at the Geelong Advertiser, I'd have a different view.
Fair enough. But do you honestly think that they can win?
Of course they can.
Very good. Just making sure you've been honest, because you said that you may be selecting Geelong if you were working down there. So.
Yeah, but then again, I picked Richmond to beat Essendon last week too.
You're a silly man. No, and obviously this massive game this weekend at the Eastern Oval. If we can, I suppose, urge all supporters and people that are involved in, obviously, any other clubs that can come along to hopefully watch the game on Saturday. There's no other football on this weekend other than junior football, so hopefully, I suppose the community can get right behind the game and get along to the Eastern Oval at 2 p.m. on Saturday and watch a great contest.
Absolutely.
Yes, we shouldn't forget there's also some other games at the Eastern Oval this weekend as well. The under-18 football game will kick off at 12 p.m.
And a bit of netball as well.
Also some netball, Gav. The under-18s will kick off at 1 o'clock, and the senior game will kick off at 2:30. And also we shouldn't forget there's also a second under-18 game being played this week against the Ballarat.
Yep. Down at Cardinia Park. That'll be great for the kids playing there.
Cardinia Park these days, or is it Simmons Stadium or
something like that? That'll be a great thrill for a lot of young blokes playing on an AFL ground.
It's a great opportunity for another set of under-18 players to, I suppose, taste interleague footy.
Absolutely.
And often probably for the very first time of those kids. So there's 2 under-18 sides playing this week. So to all those netballers playing football and netball this week, all the very best, and make sure you enjoy yourself and have fun, and that's what it's all about. All the very best. Thanks very much.